Good morning. It is a very, very, very good morning for all of us. I hope it shows on our faces. But before we start, a quick question. Has everybody had chai, coffee, breakfast? Just a show of hands. अरे पूरा अगर खाया है breakfast पूरा हाथ उठाएं ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. So fantastic. We want you to have your chai, coffee, breakfast because we want you to be here in the room. We want you to be awake and alert and with us for this entire day because we have some fabulous, fabulous people who've come all the way, left whatever it is that they were doing to be here with us, to tell us about their journey so we can learn from it and open our minds up, right, to new ideas, new possibilities. And I really hope that, we learn a lot today. I am certainly looking forward to it. But before we do that, I thought it would be nice to just give, many of you know us, many of you know what we do, but it might be nice to just give you a sense of what it is that we do. And thank you, Indranil, our Chief Enthusiasm Officer, because we are umbilically connected to a brand like Outlook, and we're very proud of that. Because as all of us know, in the age of AI, we have to be more human. I think that's our role. We're human beings. We've got to be more human, and that's what we're trying to do through all our activities. And at Responsible Tourism, the heart is all we have. And for the last 9 years, I think with every year, I think it's getting clearer and clearer and clearer, that this is our purpose. This, to have an alternative imagination of travel and to tell everyone about it. That's what we want to do. We don't want to stick to the idea of tourism that we had in our heads for the longest time. I think we need to get past it. We're already getting past it. But we need to find a way of articulating that. I'll get into what we've been doing a little while later, but I'm making a presentation. We have to have Shah Rukh Khan in it. So there's a quick question for all of you in the room. Do you watch films? Perfect. Do you watch a film because no animals were hurt in the making of the film, nobody trashed the place, and and they generated local jobs for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever? Is that why you watch a film? Yes, no? No. Most likely we watch a film because there's Shah Rukh Khan in it, I'm sorry. And also because there's a powerful story. We want to escape our everyday realities, to be in for those 2 hours. That's what we want, right? And how many of you in the room, I know all of us are travel wallas, many of you are students. Hello to all of you, big thank you for coming. You're very important, please know that. But how many of you are also travelers? Let's just see a show of hands. Perfect. So as travelers, we've got to be honest. All of us know this, that we used to have this direction for the longest time. I think last 30 years, we've had ecotourism being, in the language of our communication from the 80s, even in India. It's not new. But we've been talking about it a certain way. We've been adding do's and don'ts to it. We've been saying, guilt, shame, sacrifice, sab jod do, add it all in, and that's what we've been saying. And that's not going to work. It doesn't work with us. And try convincing your own family to go for a sustainable holiday and call it that. Say, go for a sustainable holiday. They'll say, kya? Nobody's going to come. So that's why we have to change our communication. I'm very happy we have other people who know much more than me and who will tell us all about it later today. But our advantage has been that we've been seeing this change, this shift over the last 10 years. And all of you are part of this change, luckily for us. And as people who have front row view, who have the ringside view of what's happening in India, we've noticed that small enterprises, family-run enterprises, homestays, they are the ones who are changing the conversation from the grassroots up, quietly. But this revolution is happening, and it's happening because it's coming from down below. We have seen it, and we have been witness to it, and we have been seeing a whole host of models. So they used to say, oh, cookie cutter, travel, tourism, whatever, whatever. I think we have a new cookie jar. Pura jar hi badal gaya hai. Sorry to speak in Hindi, those of you who don't understand Hindi, but it is a new cookie jar. And I'm not going to get into the models. These are just a few that I could think of, and I put them in. And many of these models, of course, have accelerated after the pandemic. Because when people realize that what happens when travel stops, do we have something else with it? A lot of people are trying new models, and very often they're combining things. So it's e-commerce and travel. It's conservation, citizen science, and travel. It is caravan tourism of a certain kind, private mobile travel. It is senior citizen travel. They're combining different areas with travel, looking at it, trying to find spaces that always existed, but we did not see them. And now we can see that in India, this is happening a lot. We also realize, I'm just going to go through a few examples very quickly of the experiences that are being offered by different people. Many of you in the room are actually probably offering these experiences. Just to tell you that suddenly the conversation is about kya karenge, what will we do? When we go there, what is it that we can do? What is it that we can experience? How do we feel? So 5 years ago, if I told you astrotourism, you'd be like, what is that? Today, I think everybody knows what astrotourism is, or at least is beginning to know. And the sky has always been there. The stars have always been there. We've never seen it as an opportunity. But that's happening. That's happening. People are doing it. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a lot. You just need, the imagination to do something like this, because you have dark skies. We in Delhi don't have dark skies. Sorry. There is also people who are looking at fireflies. Why? Have you ever wondered why fireflies became such a rage? I know all the people who've done this, so I'm thanking them in the back of my head. I won't tell you their names right now, too little time. But you know why it's such a rage? Think about it. It's because it reminds us of our childhood. It appeals to our sense of nostalgia. And I think that is what, it is familiar and something that we've not seen for a while, so suddenly this, and it's free. It's in your backyard. If you don't live in a place where, like us, it's usually in your backyard. So people are using things that are around us. Extraordinary is simply the ordinary. That's what we have learned, and a lot of people are doing this. They're setting up sky beds. It's actually, a collaboration between a luxury hotel and a farmer, by the way. That's his land. When I see the picture, when an average traveler sees the picture, they don't know about the farmer, they don't know about what profit sharing is happening, but they want to go stay in that machan. How many of you have slept on your terrace in summer? Isn't it fabulous? That's what it is. Your childhood, your nostalgia, that's what your familiarity, but not familiar. It's a good mix of things that people are doing, and I think that's fabulous. And these are real examples. If you want to ask me who's doing all this, I can give you their names. This is not out of the top of my head. Honey hunting, bird watching, champi. For the benefit of those who don't know Hindi, champi is basically a head massage. And now a fairly expensive hotel is putting it on their menu and calling it champi. They're not calling it some Swedish spa massage. It isn't. Yeah. And for the longest time, that's what it was. It was either Kerala Ayurveda or Swedish spa massage. But now we're saying champi, and people are lining up for it. So the change is happening. It's about you being brave and picking up whatever you think works for you. Of course, we have somebody here who knows what pastoralism is all about and how so many things are connected to pastoralism. We're also linking it up now with travel. It's tough, I know, as I can only guess how tough it is, but people are trying, and I think that's a start, and that's a beautiful start. All cool things. This is, by the way, a friend's hand. She's from the Konyak tribe in Nagaland, and this is a form of tattooing that is almost lost. But yeah, they're trying to keep it alive, to hold on to it for as long as they can. And somewhere along the way, again, I don't want to emphasize too much on it, because this is happening naturally, and nobody has to, nobody starts out saying, I will break 5 barriers tonight. But it's happening. And even age-old barriers of caste, class, they are getting broken down because of tourism. Because people who have not even had other people from other castes come into their homes are now hosting people from all over the world. And they have the money and the resources to do that finally. So things are changing quietly. Even, things like climate risks. People are adapting to it beautifully. They're trying to see how they can help each other out. It's happening before our eyes, and we are very proud to see it. Okay. Now, this is a question that after all this sense of hope and whatever, this is a question we ask ourselves almost every day. All this is fantastic, everything looks great, but is there an audience for it? Will people come if we offer them this, and will they pay the price that we want them to pay? Because value is what the other person is willing to give you. Value is not what you think it has, right? So is there an audience for it? So in the last, I think immediately after the pandemic in 2021, we did a survey. And again in 2023 last year, we did another survey. Just to, I know there are many surveys going on in India, but we did this quickly because we wanted to see if we were right. And we reached out to people, 1,500, 1,600 people across 50 cities. They were not all metros. Many of them were non-metros. A lot of these people are just regular people like you and me who probably take one holiday a year, right? They can only probably afford one holiday a year. And we asked them these questions. And of course, there's greater recognition of words like sustainability or responsible tourism. Responsible tourism, luckily for us, is stuck. In India, people seem to connect to it in some way, which is great. But we also realized something else. We realized that people were gravitating towards low-impact experiences without realizing they were low-impact or sustainable. They like to go boating. If the boat is not motorized, they don't care it's motorized, not motorized. If they had a good time, so they're saying, no, we love going on a boat. We love taking children out to open spaces. So they are telling us something. They're telling us they want it. They don't even know it's sustainable, which is fine. Other good signs, we've looked at some of our partners over the years. These are people who we work with routinely because as most of you in the room know that in India, the destinations are the states. And tourism is a state subject. So we work closely with states. And we looked at all their tourism policies. And I pulled these lines out. I was looking at, and I found, of course, in the rest of the document also very often references to words like sustainability, responsible tourism, inclusiveness, community. And believe me, that's a huge difference. 10 years ago, nobody was opening the door for us. They were not holding the door open for us. They were saying, "Or tourist lao." All they wanted was more people, more heads on beds, nothing else. But today, at least the conversation has changed. It's a different question to see whether that translates into actual action on ground and what kind of action. But at least we've made a start somewhere. It's very, very evident. This is basically one last piece of information. You've already probably seen this, the barometer, and we've talked about it. Aishwarya mentioned it earlier today, that, that the world tourism suffered most globally. And we are back, and things are looking good. But our wish, as we have been saying over and over again, is that all of us grow together. Let it not be something that one set races ahead and the others get left behind, because it cannot be healthy, it cannot be great. So we have to work together. That's why all of you in the room need to talk to each other, partner, find people who you want to meet, visit, partner with, work with. Please do that. So that's what we are hoping for. And before I leave the stage and start the summit in earnest, I want to show you a video. Please watch it carefully because I'm going to ask you questions. Okay? And yes, smoking is injurious to health, etc., but I will show you tobacco.
Guests is come. First, I offer to this tobacco, then tea, then betel nut. That is our traditions. So, nice. When the women are not serving this tobacco to the guests, that means she is not the real women. Oh my God! Wow. She should be served to the guests. That is the manner of the women's, the good manner like that. Suppose.
Okay, now try smoking.
No,
I
sir.
want to see your face when you're smoking.
A little lighter.
Yeah. Oh, you have a. Abu, na nagkabat si mo gariyo. Oh.
Gas prepared yet, so.
Tulad siya baba. Yeah. Daw argi kini.
I would take anything. If he smiles like that at me, if he gives me poison, I'm going to take it from him. But, okay, Ram, you are not allowed to answer this question, but can someone guess which part of the country this is from? Where did we record it? This is on my phone. Wild guess, no right answers, no wrong answers. Wild guess, throw a place at me. Close but not there. Okay, now all the northeastern states will be named one by one. Excellent that we know all the above, but no, of course you can't say it. The one name I wanted was Meghalaya. Oh, I didn't hear you, so sorry. Okay, somebody give her an extra cup of chai for you. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I think many of you know us for the awards. Most of you know us because we're a media company. We're umbilically connected to Outlook, therefore we are a media organization. We do a lot of content creation, which is specifically on this. But what many of you don't know is that we also understand we can't be sitting and standing in Delhi and hope, as Indraneel mentioned already, we go out. We go to really far out corners, to Dirang, Namsai, Tura. This is where that is. By the way, this is Tura. Some of you traveled with us, where we go and do small outreach programs to meet the local community who are, in a place like Tura, which did not see travelers up until 2018, 2019, because of political conflict, insurgency, and so on. It's now beginning, even after the pandemic, it's been gradually sort of gathering steam. Tourism is gathering steam there. And we wanted to have a conversation with people in the off-season to see what they needed, if we can ideate together. And that's what we do. Can anyone guess what the cigarette was made of? Corn husk. So corn husk, I think that's what. They probably just, it's everyday life for them. They will offer it to you wherever you go. They'll give you, betel nut and these cigarettes and corn husks. But we thought it was a beautiful, small part of their life that was so beautiful. And this is why we do what we do. This is why we wake up every morning. This is why we go to far out corners of the country to meet more people, to be able to tell them that even this is beautiful and people will come, they will come to you, they will appreciate what you have to offer. First, you have to appreciate what you have. And that's all that we can tell you, because we are sitting in Delhi and we know that we have none of the above. We have smog, we have traffic, we have a whole host of other very, very interesting things, but we don't have that smile and we don't have corn husk cigarettes. So if you want corn husk cigarettes, come to Tura, come with us. But for now, over to the wonderful speakers who've come from all over the world. We really hope you have a lovely time. And in case you have any questions, anything, you know the team, please seek us out during lunch. We will sort it out for you. Thank you so much.